day long. The flower pot man. The flower pot man. The flower pot man.
The Rusty Scissors. It was a beautiful day in the garden. The sun was shining, the sky was blue, the birds were singing, and Bill and Ben were playing a game of cricket. Ben was ready with the bat, and Bill was ready to throw the ball. Flubber-dub, flubber-lub, flubber ready, flubber ball, said Ben. Flubber-dub, flubber-lub, flubber ready, flubber ball coming, said Bill. Ben jogged on the spot and raised the bat ready to hit the ball. Bill did some star jumps and threw the ball to Ben, who hit it with the bat. Then the ball started bouncing off nearby things. "Oh, flubber-dubber good," said Bill, who was impressed. Ben threw the bat in the air and caught it, then raised his eyebrows and chuckled in a cool way. "Flubber, thank you," he said. The ball bounced off the water butt, the kennel, a nearby watering can, the cellar door, the back wall of the shed, the tree, and ended up hitting Thistle in the face, waking her up. "Ouch! What on earth?" she said. "Uh-oh," said Bill and Ben. Thistle looked around crossly and turned to Bill, who was leaning against the tree casually, and Ben, who was leaning on the cricket bat casually. Both of the flowerpot men were whistling innocently. Then the cricket bat slipped out from under Ben's elbow, so Ben fell flat on his face to the ground. Ben got back onto his feet, rubbed his nose, and picked up the cricket bat. Thistle was looking furious. "Right, you two! I'll pay you back!" she said. Bill and Ben gulped, and Thistle thought about how to pay them back. Then she saw a rusty pair of scissors next to her. "Aha," she said. Thistle leant down, picked up the scissors, and started snipping them. "Ah! Flopping up a tree!" exclaimed Bill and Ben. They quickly climbed up the tree for safety, and Thistle carried on snipping the scissors. "Come down here, you two, at once!" she chuckled wickedly. Poor Bill and Ben! Thistle was scaring them with a rusty pair of scissors. But they didn't have to be scared for long, because they suddenly heard a voice. "Thistle!" It was Pry! She flew down from the sky and saw Bill and Ben in the tree. "Wahey! Flubber-dubber Pry!" they said. "It's okay, you two. You can come down now," said Pry. Bill and Ben climbed down from the tree. "You should never, ever play with scissors, Thistle," said Pry. "They're sharp and can be very dangerous if you're not careful with them." "But Bill and Ben hit me with their cricket ball," said Thistle as she pointed to the ball. "I was trying to get my own back." "But I presume it was just an accident," said Pry as she looked at the ball. "Flubber-lob," said Bill and Ben, nodding their heads. "You see, Thistle? Bill and Ben would never hit you on purpose," said Pry. "Now put those scissors down at once." "You're no fun," sighed Thistle. She put the scissors down, and Pry looked at how rusty they were. "Oh, good grief! Those scissors are so rusty," she said. "Bill and Ben, I think you should get rid of them immediately." "Oh, Flubber-dubber agree," said Bill and Ben. Then Ben had an idea. "Aha! Flubber do it! Flubber stand back," he said. Bill and Pry stood back. Ben stepped over to the scissors, started shouting, and repeatedly hit them with the cricket bat, trying to break them. "Ah!" Bill did a facepalm and grabbed the bat from Ben, which made him stop shouting. "Ah!" Really? Flubber, not like that, said Bill. Bill's right, Ben. Get rid of those scissors properly, said Pry. And that means not hitting them with your cricket bat. Oh, Flubber Pry, said Ben. Now I'll leave you two to get on with it, said Pry. See you later. Flubber bye, Pry, said Bill and Ben. Pry flew off, and Thistle went back to sleep. Bill put down the cricket bat, ran into the kennel, and came out again holding his satchel. Flubber scissors satchel, he said. Neither he nor Ben didn't want to carry the scissors while they looked for a place to leave them, so Bill decided to put them in his satchel. He did that and put it on. Flubber good, said Ben. Now that the scissors were in Bill's satchel, where were they going to leave them? Flubber where? Asked Ben. Aha! Flubber field, said Bill. He decided they could leave the scissors somewhere in the field next to the flowerpot men's garden. So they set off there. When they got to the field, Bill and Ben looked around for somewhere to leave the scissors. Ah! Flubber pond, said Bill. He thought they could leave the scissors at the bottom of the pond. Bill and Ben ran over to the pond, and Bill took his satchel off and took the scissors out. He was just about to throw them in when Ben saw something in the pond and stopped him. Flubber, stop! He said. Oh? Flubber matter, Ben? Asked Bill. Ben pointed to the pond. He and Bill went on their knees and looked down into the pond. They couldn't put the scissors in there because there were fish swimming in there. Bill and Ben didn't want to spoil the fish's swimming place, so they decided to think of somewhere else to leave the scissors. Then Ben came up with a suggestion. Aha! Flubber rubbish tip! He thought they could leave the scissors at the rubbish tip they got stuck on when they were trying to find Pry's green milk bottle top. Flubber, good idea, Ben! Flub on, said Bill. He put the scissors in his satchel, put it on, and ran off. Ben was about to follow him, but he suddenly felt hot. He looked up at the sky, wiping his forehead. The sky was cloudless, and the sun was shining brightly. Phew! Flubber hot, said Ben. He looked at the pond and had an idea. Bill arrived at the fence and pushed the loose planks up for Ben to run through. Flubber after you, he said. But then he realized that Ben wasn't there. Flubber Ben? Flubber Ben? Flubber, where are you? Said Bill. He ran back to the pond, and when he got there, he saw Ben having a lovely cool swim. Ah, flubber dubber life, he sighed happily. Flubber Ben, said Bill. Ben looked at Bill, who beckoned to him. Ben was disappointed, but he still swam back to the edge of the pond and climbed out. Then he shook himself dry, splashing Bill. While Ben put his hat, socks, and boots back on, Bill wiped the water off himself. Flubber, follow me, he said. Flubber, right behind you, said Ben. He tied the laces on his boots, and he and Bill ran back to the fence. Bill and Ben arrived back in their garden, ran to their balloon, and climbed into the basket. Ben pulled the anchor out of the wooden box and up into the basket. Then the balloon started to rise into the sky. Now that Bill and Ben were flying to the rubbish tip, they needed to remember where it was, as they hadn't been there for 2 years. Flubber, remember, Bill? Asked Ben. Flubber thinking, Ben, said Bill. Flubber dubber that way. Because Bill and Ben trusted the wind to take their hot air balloon to where they wanted to go, they were hoping they were going in the right direction. The balloon was going the correct way, because later on, Bill saw the rubbish tip down below. Woohoo! Flubber dubber rubbish tip, he said. Flubber dubber right way, said Ben. It had been a long journey, but at last Bill and Ben were at the rubbish tip, so it was time for them to land their balloon and search for a place to leave the scissors. Once they were on the ground, Bill and Ben decided to get as high as they could so it would be easier to find a place to leave the scissors. So they climbed up a small hill of mud, avoiding the rubbish that was there. When they got to the top, they had a look round. Flubber-dubber where? wondered Ben. Flubber fine somewhere, said Bill. But suddenly, they slipped and slid down the hill. Whoa! said Bill and Ben. They slid and slid until they ended up in a small hole. Splat! Flubber. Luckily, it was only a few inches deep. Bill and Ben weren't hurt, but they were covered in mud and rubbish. Oh, flubber-dubber fast, said Ben. Flubber agree, said Bill. And then he thought of something. Oh, flubber-dubber minute. Flubber-dubber scissors hole. They could leave the scissors in the hole. Flubber-dubber great idea, said Ben. Bill took his satchel off, took the scissors out, and put them on the ground. Way! said Bill and Ben as they high-fived each other. The job was done. Now it was time to go home. Bill put his satchel on, and he and Ben climbed out of the hole. Flubber-dubber home, he said. Bill and Ben climbed up the hill and decided to slide down the other side. So they did that. Flubber-ruddy-mo! said Bill. Flubber-wee! said Ben. The flowerpot men got to the bottom of the hill and started walking back to their balloon. As they walked, Ben spotted something. The kite they used to find Pry's green milk bottle top. The wind had blown the flowerpot men and the kite to the rubbish tip when it got strong. Bill and Ben walked over to the kite and looked at it. Flubber take it home? asked Ben. Flubber-dubber fix it, answered Bill. Whoa! said Ben. The kite got broken when Bill and Ben landed on the rubbish tip and the wind dropped, but they decided to take it home to see if they could mend it. Bill took his satchel off and opened it. Then Ben picked up the broken kite and squeezed it into Bill's satchel. At the bottom of the garden, Pry was talking with Weed. I saw Thistle playing with a pair of rusty scissors to scare Bill and Ben because they accidentally hit her with their cricket ball, she said. Oh dear, poor Bill and Ben. Thistle should know not to play with scissors, and Bill and Ben would never hit her on purpose, said Weed. I know, but I told Thistle to stop playing with the scissors, and Bill and Ben are getting rid of them now, said Pry. Oh, good. I wonder where Bill and Ben have taken the scissors, said Weed. Just then they heard, Flubber Weed and Flubber Pry. Weed and Pry looked up at the sky and saw Bill and Ben waving from their balloon, so they waved back. Something tells me it was somewhere far from here, said Pry. Soon Bill and Ben were telling Weed and Pry about their adventure, and the broken kite had been taken out of Bill's satchel and was on the ground. The rubbish tip is a great place to leave a pair of rusty scissors, and leaving them in a hole is even better. I'm also pleased you found your kite, because knowing you two, you'd be able to mend it no problem, said Pry. Right, I'd better get home before it gets dark. Bye now. Bill, Ben and Weed waved goodbye as Pry flew back to her nest. Just then, Weed smelled something stinky and realised that it was Bill and Ben, who were still covered in mud and rubbish. Oh my goodness, boys! You smell horrible, said Weed as she held her nose. Bill and Ben sniffed themselves and realised that Weed was right. Flubber pong, said Bill. Oh, Flubber Mel, said Ben. You boys better go and get cleaned up, said Weed. Follow right away, Weed, said Bill and Ben. And so the flowerpot men went to have a shower under the tap at the end of the garden, which they thought could be a way of rewarding themselves for getting rid of the unwanted rusty scissors.
Bill and Ben, the flower pot men. Bill and Ben, the flower pot men. They've been playing in the garden, playing with their friends. Now they'll be sleeping in their pots.